Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barbin. With me is Jeff Dover, and we're talking the NFL draft, first round.
We're a couple of football fans that watch College the NFL. We hope to earn your like and subscribe today. This is our review of the first round of the NFL draft. What are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts is, man, is there still ever nothing to talk about in the offseason?
I missed the games. Can't wait for the games to come.
Yeah.
But at least this, we're getting some new pieces and some teams. And I think some of these are going to make for an interesting season. Who's going to have some impact here. So what do you think?
Well, I'm obviously wearing the Rams. You're wearing Vegas. So the quarterbacks are always the story because even your casual fan kind of has an idea of who the quarterbacks were. I mean, I don't think a lot of people who aren't hardcore college fans even know who Arvell Reese or David Bailey even is.
No, and it's pretty well understood that the quarterback's the most important position in football, most important position in the NFL, right? So that's why it gets a lot of attention, because they're the ones they get the ball every snap, right, and make decisions and move the offense along. So, and it was we've had some unanimous number ones over the years, but holy cow, is this like just a no-brainer at number one? Like, they talked about it for so long. They even with the move with Cousins coming in, like to at least maybe start the first little bit and mentor him. Like, so I think it's just a really good fit. And I think that he's a legit first round, top pick quarterback. Like, he's with the physical skills and what he's done. And I think it was just a great call for them.
Yeah, it seems like the only call they could have made, even from like a optics standpoint, they were terrible. Geno Smith was terrible. Like, he was way better at throwing the ball to the other team. The offensive line, the offense was just awful. And Max Crosby was the best thing on that team. Brock Bowers is great, but they're going nowhere as currently constructed. And yeah, they took a top running back last year, but none of that matters if the quarterback sucks. So I actually heard rumblings of them trading this pick. That would have been optically crazy. That would have been now, we don't know if this guy's going to work out, but you kind of just have to make this move given the position the franchise was in.
Yes, and the worst case, like if you traded down and the other picks did really well and stuff, like that would be okay. But man, if Mendoza goes to the Jets and he's really good, like your GM or coach, like, you won't survive that, right? Because that'll just be, if it optically it might look terrible now, it could be really bad next year and cost you your job. So it's I agree. Like, they had to do it, and I think he's good. Like, he's good. He's got the size and the arm strength, and and he doesn't, even though he's picked first overall, which sort of adds the added pressure to like starting and playing. Like, they've got Cousins, and they knew that going in, and no one's going to bat an eye if Cousins starts first few games, first half of the season even. I mean, that could happen. So
yeah, and that was another thing, right? When they took Cousins, it was kind of like, oh, this is obvious. He's there to start the season off, probably mentor the kid up. Like, let's just see what the team even looks like. If you throw him into a blender and it's a mess, maybe better that, as bad as this sounds, maybe Cousins takes the beating for a bit.
Yes,
because he's savvy enough and experienced enough to get through no matter how ugly the team is. Cousins will manage an offense. He's a seasoned veteran. The last thing, and there's this whole debate, right? You throw the kids in too early and it screws them up, and we don't really know where that lands, because some guys excel right away, like Jaden Daniels and what's his name, CJ Stroud's first year, outstanding. But then other guys probably benefited from hanging around behind a guy. So this seems like the pattern here.
Right. And the team matters, right? Like, as you said, because like Daniel Jones, didn't look like he was that good, but is, on the Colts has been significantly better, right? So the team matters. I think it's you're exactly right. We're gonna find out more about the Raiders early on in the season, and that's going to dictate what's going to look like later. Yeah. And so, but another quarterback we know who's not playing the first few games, if at all, this season would be Ty Simpson.
Oh, he's not going to see the field unless Stafford gets seriously injured. Simpson's not going to see the field. When I saw that pick, I thought, now we don't know. Simpson's only started one season in college, so his sample size of what he did in college is small. Now, he played in the SEC, so he's up against a lot of these guys in the first round he played against
Yep.
already.
Yes, he did.
Mendoza and the Hoosiers kicked his ass in the playoffs to the point where they literally broke his ribs. So,
Yep.
but he was the only other one that any analysis I saw suggested he had at least NFL traits.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not, I mean, it's just the lack of experience. But this is a good spot for him to be with McVay and behind Stafford. I'm pretty sure he's totally stoked that he landed there.
Oh yeah, like and so my first reaction is that Ty Simpson is not a number 13 level talent, but it just shows you what the market is and how important the QB position is, right?
Mhm.
Because they'd obviously either with tryouts or the pro day and stuff felt like he had all the pieces important to move up and get him, and Stafford's not going to be around much longer. So, and even though the Rams are in a win now situation, like it would have been nice to get another piece on defense or another piece on offense or something like that. So it's tough to use such an early pick for someone that is not going to see the field. But at the end of the day, if you can have Stafford really productive, win a Super Bowl, you know, get ready for Ty Simpson, and if he's good when he comes in, that means you would have been set at QB for like 10 years or something, which is rare.
Totally.
If they land on this pick. So if they must have felt confident enough in their analysis to trade up to get him, because that was a surprise.
Well, my guess is their hope is this is their Jordan Love version,
Yep.
going from Rodgers to Love. I think they're hoping that's what they have here, and Simpson can sit behind Stafford. But if we do this little exercise, like who else was taken after him in the first round, assuming all the people ahead of him it wouldn't change, right? So when they got to their spot here and they took him, well, who else would they have taken in place of him that also went in the first round? That it's I don't like who's the obvious pick here? Malachi Lemon, maybe. I don't know. What do they need?
Yep, that's a great call, because most going into this draft, everyone said that everyone in the first round isn't first round level talent. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
they said it was pretty much around the 13 mark, actually 13 or 15, depending who you talk to. Like that was actually a first round. And when we say first round talent, we mean what I expect from a first round pick is someone that comes in and contributes right away, right? Like with the exception of a QB that might sit for a little bit or something like that. Like you want someone that's going to be contributing that season,
And I'd add to that is good enough that could earn a contract extension or a second extension with the team that drafted him.
Yes,
which is so rare. Rare.
That does not happen often.
Yeah.
So once after 13, you're right. I don't think there was anyone who was really identified as a real difference maker. So trading up to get the person you want at the most important position in football is not a bad idea. Now, I will think that, I think there's a chance Reuben Bain is really good, for the Bucks, coming off the edge. Kenyon Sadiq could look really good, as the tight end, although he's with the Jets. Same thing. Who was the other edge guy that I thought was Mesidor? I thought was really good too. I think he's a great fit for the Chargers and their defense. But
the Rams D line is great.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily a spot of need. Also, they're all pretty young. I mean, obviously, some of them are going to get paid big soon. But, but that's not their deficiency.
No.
If anything, it's their secondary. But where's the home run secondary player? It's not.
No, because that guy from the LSU wasn't going to drop this far. The Delane, he was really.
Well, he's already gone.
I know. So he was pretty established as the number one guy. So
right, and then the other highly ranked ones, there's question marks, right? The guy from Tennessee, it's like, he's really good, but he spent a whole year rehabbing. So are you gonna?
Yeah,
it's not obvious. It's same thing with Kenyon Sadiq. Yeah, he's a freak, but they already have tight ends that contribute big time on the Rams. They run a 3 tight end system sometimes, and they're more than good enough for the system they're running. So it's not like they're deficient at tight end.
No,
and they don't need. I mean, do they even need O-line? I'm just trying to think who's the obvious person to take other than a QB. I mean, obviously Ram fans know better. If they study their team, they know exactly who they would have preferred. But the overwhelming talent at a specific position, there was nothing there. Like you said,
No.
not everything here. Very few players had a first round grade, and they probably, at least the way the teams ranked them. So they're like, forget it. There's nobody that good. Maybe we've just captured our quarterback of the future.
Right. And that's a good point, right? Because you're right. Depending on the offensive line, because 3 tackles went to after that.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting a good offensive tackle is really important. But if you're weighing getting an above average offensive tackle versus like could be your QB of the future, like that's a good, and you didn't have to trade too much to get the 13. You know what I mean? So yeah. Now
And the cost at 13 is not that bad.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm glad you brought up cost, because that was something that I was really interested in seeing about Jeremiah Love, because everyone was like, that guy's really talented. He deserves to go this top and stuff. And the one thing that I heard going into the draft, which really I found interesting, is that because of the collective bargaining and the rookie contracts are already set, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Love is getting the number 3 pick, gets a 3-year contract at 40 something million or something like that. So it's a little over 10 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the reason why you wouldn't draft a running back high, because in general, running back, you could get someone later in a round, be just as good. But also with the Cardinals picking him 3rd, he's now the 7th highest paid running back in the league
Already.
without taking a snap. Right. So, and I believe they've got 2 running backs that were like not bad, like on the roster, right? Yeah, they had Algier and Connor. So
Connor's aging out. They just got Algier. I mean, now.
Yeah. So my point is that this is one of those times where, like, because of the cost and where he was drafted, like, you have no choice but to play this guy, because you can't.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to have a $10 million backup, at running back, right?
That's the one position I've seen analysts suggest is the easiest to just throw them in, because at least the running portion of their assignment is talent and instinct, and they can figure out where to go. And if he's proven he has good vision, the vision translates, right?
Yeah.
The thing that you want to see happen in the pros is, can he catch routes or keep progressing at catching, and blitz pickup and pass protection. That's where a running back
really key
kid stays on the team or not is right there.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see. That's one where, like, I would have liked to have seen Reese go there, because I just think that he's a physical talent, and I think could be special. And so, like, and if you have a special defensive end, like, that would mean a lot, especially for the Cardinals, because it's not like they have a real set there either on their defense. So anyway, that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Like, if this guy lights it up and he runs for over 1,000 yards in his first year and stuff, then good for them. But man, if Reese really develops, like, he could be really dominant at the edge for some time.
Yeah. I wonder if this draft being so unsure, I mean, there's no such thing as a sure thing, but the speculation of, like, kind of no one knew, even Mendoza, like, yeah, he's the number 1, but only because there's not a lot of other QBs.
Yes.
And all the way through, it's like, yeah, Bailey's good, but he played at Texas Tech and the competition Big 12. Okay.
Yep.
And so Jeremiah Love sort of maybe went there because, well, he was on Notre Dame. They played against big teams. They made it to the championship last year. He looks like, oh my God, I'm Bijan Robinson. That's what they compare, but maybe even faster.
Yeah.
So,
and really good receiver. He is a really good receiver.
But man, you just don't need to take a running back this high. When you just scan all the best backs in the league, you can just get huge production from somebody in later round. You just can.
Yeah.
So it's a big risk, especially on a team with no quarterback.
No, and that's a great pick. So, like, in this draft, if you had to pick people, like, because you don't know, and and if you did, like, we wouldn't be sitting here. It would be a GM somewhere and having this meeting and saving the Jets, I guess. But I mean, in things that, like, can't miss, I feel like the DB can't miss. Like, I think he's really good. It'd be really surprising if he's not good. I think Sonny Styles is another can't miss. He was just an amazing linebacker, physical, like, had an amazing combine as well. Like, he's going to play for the Commanders and be good. You know what I mean? So, and I think you could have used both of those for the Cardinals, like, too. Like, that, it's a not miss to me, those aren't going to miss, but we'll see.
So I wonder if this is the position need versus take the best player on the board.
Yeah, and that's always a tricky thing. I just wouldn't have said that the running back. I wouldn't have had it listed as a position need for the Cardinals. So it
Or
has
best
to
player.
be. It has to be best player on the board for them. Like So
yeah, they must have had him rated higher. But to me,
Yeah.
best player on the board has to come with the caveat at what price.
Yes. So that's why it's a little surprising. I wouldn't have put running back as a real need. They think he's the best player, but again, you're putting the 7th highest paid running back which is just weird. So I wouldn't have done it. I would have. I think that the Cardinals aren't a great team. They need a lot of different things. I would have taken a flyer with something else. But listen, it speaks to the talent overall in the draft because it seemed as though it was a light year. It was a light year.
Well, it was just, yeah, I'm with you. I could picture them taking different players other than Love, but I don't know. I guess they'll be interesting to watch just because of him, but they're clearly in a bridge year. They don't have, who's even starting there, Brissett or something? Like
I don't know.
They're not built. Okay, how about this? The Cardinals in 2026 aren't the Cardinals moving forward. This is a temporary holding pattern QB situation for the Cardinals. So maybe, I don't know. It just seems way too high for a running back.
Mm-hmm. What are your other takeaways from the draft in the first round?
Arvell Reese to the Giants? They just keep taking defensive ends. Like, what do they like? They just lost a tackle. They don't need another end, do they? I don't know. The defense was atrocious, but are you? So you just took, oh my God, Carter last year.
Yeah,
you traded for Burns. Burns was outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
So you would hope that those are your bookends, and now you just take another one. So maybe there's no such thing as too much depth at defensive end. But again, 5th overall, I was under the impression there was depth at defensive end in this draft. So you use a fifth overall pick for another defensive end. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of defensive end and in just the edge rushers. Again, at the Bain or Mesidor, I would have been. I don't know if Reese is a real special physical talent, right? So I'll give you that. But again, like you said, this is the position of need versus best on the board, right? Because this is that's obviously a best person we think rated.
Some people think he was the best single player in the whole draft, right? Like position rank, overall rank, just number one across the board. So maybe it's just better to have that guy on the field. And if his comp was kind of Micah Parsons, if he can even get close to that, then you probably just stole the best player at number 5.
Yeah.
Like overall, I guess maybe it's the safe pick for Joe Shane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he's like, what do you want me to do? I took the consensus single best player, not position, just overall. Everyone thinks the best single football player. That's who I took. And we managed to steal him at 5.
Yeah, and we know they needed help at offensive line too, and that's why they traded to get up to 10, and they got the guy from Miami who's really good. So that's good. Like that, you potentially overall best player in the draft, and then who was predicted one of the best offensive tackles?
One of the two, and they went back to back. Malgo
which you
Fano.
needed. So that's a good one.
Are you surprised about Jordan Tyson going at 8 there?
Little bit, but I remember. We watched a lot of Arizona State games, and he was a difference maker. He was open. No one could really stop. They know he's the kind of guy, they know the ball's going in his direction, and he was still getting open and catching. Now, when he was injured, he was definitely not the same, but and that was also another one of those, the Saints need a wide receiver, and he's good. So, it's again, would I've rated him is he the 8th best player in the draft? Probably not, but it was pretty, although Casey Concepcion was pretty good, but I would have had Tate if he was available, but I'm fine with that pick just because I've watched him a lot and I thought he was really good.
Yeah. Tate going to Tennessee at number 4, I think he was projected to be the first receiver to go, and they obviously need help there. does he? Okay, so my memory of seeing, I didn't watch enough Ohio State because all of their games were foregone conclusions to me.
Yeah.
They just didn't. They were just not that interesting until they got into like big games, and then they kind of lost in the big games. So my memory of them is he just got. This is going to sound bad, but like he got lost in the wash of a hyper talented receiver room. So that doesn't mean he's not outstanding because their receiver rooms, like Jackson Smith and Jigba was on the field with Ibuka and all of those, and Harrison and all those freaks, and they're all good. But in Jigba was, it's almost like you couldn't even tell he was going to be that good. Like out of all of them, I mean, and Olave, they're just, it's like can you even tell they're all just so good? So maybe I'm making the case that he should be that high because Ohio State receivers, like they're almost can't miss at this point.
Right. I agree. It's the they definitely have the right track record. It's hard to tell when there's that much talent around you, a wide receiver, like if you're wide receiver 2 or 3, but with those guys, that it's going to affect your production, but that not necessarily, speaks to your talented wide receiver. And it was also something they needed, right? Like they got to give what was the QB? He was the first pick last
Ward.
year. Yeah, Ward more ammo out there, and they definitely needed that. So that was good.
Yeah. Anything else jump out at you? I think delaying to the Chiefs is kind of seems obvious after the moves they made.
Yeah, that was wouldn't have after the moves they made, they definitely needed to address that. So that's fine. I think Caleb Downs is going to be good. He's been such a good safety. I can't imagine that not working out. So I think that's a really safe pick for the Cowboys because he's a good safety. Same thing with Proctor for the Dolphins. Like he was going to be a good. I think he's a good tackle.
Hang on, I want to linger on Downs with the
sure.
Cowboys for a bit. So one of the knocks is he's just not big. He's not like one of these hybrids that everybody wants, like Nicky Manwari that the Seahawks got. But that guy's a total unicorn. He could play anywhere. But Downs is. They might have got like a generational player here, maybe. Like he's so instinctual. He plays with violence. He kind of plays bigger than he is. Yeah. And he's just so he strikes me as in the mold of oh my God, the Pittsburgh Steelers guy with the long hair. What? Polamalu. He strikes me as the type of guy who can freelance a little bit and he kind of ends up anywhere he wants, at least in the Ohio State defense, because he knows he can do that. And he just maybe they ended up with one of those X Factor types. Eman Warrior's like that, but just even bigger. But maybe Downs is so heady and just so smart with what he's doing and so instinctual. Like you ended up with it's odd to say a safety could be the difference maker on a defense, but maybe you've ended up with one of those here.
Yeah, and so speak to the size, I thought he was bigger. He plays bigger. You're absolutely right because he hits hard and he's great at the run game, like stopping the run game. So I was surprised to see him described as a smaller player because he absolutely does not play like that. Now 5'11", I mean, what would be your preference? 6'1" or 6'2" for a safety? Maybe. So that's like 2 inches. He's 206. Like that's not small like that. And he hits like a missile. So I think he's going to be great. And I think that was like a really safe pick and I think he's going to be good. So they are bigger in the NFL, like, so that maybe the size is more of a concern, but I mean, he's definitely, they played big time teams, and he would have played against good talent.
Like, yes, theoretically on maybe the most talented roster, he was the best of them all.
Yeah. It's a really good defense and he still stood out, right? Just kind of to your point about Tate, like it was, it's hard. It's on a really good offense for one person to stand out.
If Cowboy fans, if you haven't been watching, go back and watch his highlights. I think you got a beauty here. So
yeah, me too. I think he's going to be great. So, anyone else you want to talk about?
Proctor's a physical freak, but but I've heard knocks on him. But then he's lost a bunch of weight over the last season. But he seems like he could be the one of the freakiest tackles in a long time. But I think it's all going to depend on how well he gets developed. I put it this way: the body's there, the tools are there. Can he be developed into a Trent Williams? He's got what it takes to be Trent Williams, but does he have the mentality and the attitude and can he learn his way into being all that he could be?
Yeah, no, and because you can't coach size in height, you know,
and agility and footwork.
Right. So he's got the physical tools. So you're right. It's the mental part needs to be.
Yeah.
It's not a for sure thing, but but you take that size any day for an offensive lineman.
Yeah. I mean, they would put him out at receiver sometimes, which was the best thing ever. So, so that I think there's like a potentially high upside, but lots of work to do there with him. I mean, I'm trying to think of. I'm super curious to see how Sadiq turns out, but we're not going to get to see it this year because he's going to be standing there. He's going to be running routes while Geno Smith is throwing the ball over his head into the other team's hands.
We're getting sacked.
So we got to wait around. But I get, you know what? So on the New York Jets standpoint, they took what's arguably the best defensive end, or at least the lowest risk option at defensive end. Like Bailey is measurably, and everything on paper suggests they took if available, you just take him, right? And then Sadiq, one of the physically freakiest tight ends we've seen in ages. So kind of when he was there, you're like, maybe that's the best player on the board type pick at that point. And then later in the draft, they took Cooper Jr., who's if you watch Indiana, he's really good too. Yeah. So it obviously this year, they're just building this team around who eventually is going to be the quarterback next year. Obviously, Geno Smith is just a bridge. Like he's not the future.
No. Yeah, and they've still got I think maybe just one more in the second round too. So like they're not done with they're going to have a lot of draft capital that they would have picked this year. Last thing I was just going to mention too was Price, the Notre Dame, the other Notre Dame running back, going in the first round. So that could be a steal for Seattle, right? Because that sort of reminds me of who was the guy that went to the Chiefs that was the backup? Prince?
Oh, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, he backed up Ricky Williams, and they had the best backfield. Oh, my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Priest Holmes.
Yeah, Priest Holmes, right? So, so I'm not saying, calm down, fans, all the tens of people listening. I'm not saying the price is going to be Priest Holmes, but it could be a really good pick at the at the last round. That could be a steal because the only reason why that guy didn't play more was because of Love, right? So that could be a potential steal at the end if that guy is good. So
they could have essentially replenished, reloaded at running back, and not going to miss a beat without K9 there. So. Yeah, I mean, again, two running backs, in the first round like that. From the same team.
Yeah, which is crazy. So that to me, I found that interesting because again, it's 5'11", 203. It's like perfect size. That like they had to played against good competition. Like it was, they were known for their running game. I mean, it's not bad.
Oh, that was the bread and butter of that team was their running game.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, the rest of this first round, you'd need to be a pretty hardcore college football freak to like look at this stuff and be like, oh, I know who that guy was. I know who that guy was. And like unless they happen to play on your alma mater, a lot of these names are going to be somebody you just don't really know who they are. I mean,
the last thing I was going to say just but because again, we talked about like the first round talent really sort of ending around the 13 or so range. And because then a lot of these things could be, shuffled around, and I don't know if it would make a huge difference, but like two guards being picked above the 26th pick is somewhat surprising too, because those are the positions that you could historically get later as well. So, but
I would argue for the Texans that O-line needs. That's the one thing that team is sorely needed some help on there.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it's lingering on the Texans. I don't buy this CJ Stroud's regress nonsense. I think he was trying too hard to make something happen on a team that like he was missing his running backs. He was missing his best, one of his two best receivers was out for the whole year. Dell destroyed his leg. And then Collins was in and out of the lineup. And his running back room just wasn't what it was. So, I mean, I guess I'm sort of making excuses that I could see how it led him to thinking, I got to make all of this happen instead of just playing how you're supposed to play in the offense as it's supposed to be constructed. At least it looked like to me, he was always pressing to try to make more happen than was available. And with a weak offensive line and missing some weapons, you get what we got. because I just don't believe he's just forgotten how to play at a high level. I just don't believe that.
And it's something. It might be like it's a bit more of the playoff pressure. It kind of reminds me of the QB at Baltimore. God, I'm not good with the names.
Lamar Jackson.
We haven't watched football in so long. I know, but it's the
lefty and then the short guy. And...
yeah, he's Mr. The two fingers. It's the but
right.
it's the has MVP season, and is great in the regular season, but has a horrendous turnover ratio in the playoffs, right? So it's not super uncommon for the competition is harder in the playoffs, right? So and if you feel like you're pushing a little bit much and you're forcing something to happen, and then that's when the turnovers happen. So, but you're right. That was the last thing. I was just guards going like that high was just a little bit shocking, but you're right. They need it. So
yeah. And like you said, if the consensus was there was maybe 10 or 12 players that were first round graded, well, at the 26th pick, you just take what your team needs.
Yes.
And if a guard's what they needed, then they take a guard. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly.
So is there anybody else that, we're trying to stretch this into a real something worth talking about.
We hit all the stuff that I wanted to talk about, and it was we'll see the next couple rounds. Now we're really just filling out like position of need, and then it'll be really interesting to see, because there's always someone in rounds 2 through 5, even 6 through 7, that all of a sudden pop next year, right? And you're like, man, they got them in the 5th round, and so that can always happen. So even though we're proclaiming first round talent is sort of done, there's always players from the later rounds.
There's going to be a Max Crosby in this draft. There's going to be someone from a few rounds later that's going to be better than everybody in this round, right?
Yes.
We don't know who it's going to be.
Yes.
Actually, that would be a fun little thing to finish this talk.
Sure.
Out of these guys, this just first round that we're looking at here, if you were just going to take a guess at which one you think could be the star of the whole thing, just from what you remember from college and where they've landed here, is there somebody, it could be Mendoza too, could be the obvious pick, but is there somebody here who you wouldn't be surprised if they turned out to be the star of this first round?
Yeah, I'm going to say, well, that's a good question. I'm between two people. I'm going to say Styles. I just think because I think he's going to step in at middle linebacker, and you're going to produce at that position. Like he's going to have like 80 tackles. He's going to have a couple sacks. Like it's I just think he's ready to go for middle linebacker.
On a team that needs it.
Yeah. And and I was going to say Downs, because I think that's another one that at the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised. He's got like 80 tackles, a couple interceptions. Like I just think but I'll go with Styles.
Yeah. And I'll go with Downs. I mean, that's I kind of kept arriving back at those two who seem like on the teams they landed on with what they were with the expectation they're coming in with and the resumes they have so far. Those were the two to me that were like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were in contention for defensive rookie of the year, like respectively, but we'll see. I don't know. You got anything else?
No, that's about it for me.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, if you're still with us, we appreciate you checking out the video. If you like what we got going on and you'd like to support us, a like and a subscribe would go a long way, and we'd super appreciate it. So for Jeff Dover, I'm John Barbin, and that's your Saturday versus Sunday podcast.